Welcome to the show, Big Bad Trump. Canadians, they seem to be afraid of him. He says, I want to make you a 51st state. Politicians and people are just going nuts over it. And now, of course, with the tariffs, Canadians are saying, oh, you're going to bankrupt our country. I'm not sure that's the answer. So we're going to discuss the answer. We have Jay Goldberg with the Consumer Choice Center. You have your finger on what's going on. You always know what's going on in policy. Anthony Feor, host of Opinionated on this network. You've got your finger on what people are talking about because you're opinionated, but we're going to ask later on. Adam Zivo,
Yep.
You're a National Post columnist. You are an expert on fentanyl, and you've been writing for years about the threat of that, and you know, not the threat, I mean the scourge of it, and you know what people are talking about. So, Adam, let me put to you first. Are Canadians just chicken? Why are we so worried about the 51st state? He's not going to send in the army. We are a country. We have our own armed forces. He's just toying with us. Why would we let him do that?
I think it'd be naive to think that he's just toying with us. The joke was funny the first time, but given the fixation on this issue over the past month and a half, I think it's time for us to consider that they might be serious here.
And let me serious. How is he going to make us a 51st state?
Well,
subject us all to his imprisonment?
Well, by crushing our economy and making it impossible for us to resist an annexation. And if they wanted to do a military occupation within the next 10 years, how could we resist? There's no way that we could. We have no army, right?
No, that's true. But we have the greatest natural resources probably in the world. We go from coast to coast to coast. We have, natural gas, we have oil, we have timber, we have water, we have all these things and a workforce. Why can't we stand on our own 2 feet?
Well, look, so right now the world is becoming more and more unstable, and there's a greater risk of a great power conflict between the United States and China. And if you accept that this is realistic, then the rational choice for the United States would actually be to annex Canada, to consolidate control over its natural resources, to be able to more effectively project power into the Arctic. So if you're looking at this from a realpolitik perspective, annexing Canada makes sense if you don't have any real adherence to democratic values.
I hear that it makes sense from the state's point of view, but do you agree with Adam that we're going to just be supine and be annexed? Oh, take us over, Donald Trump.
Well, I have to agree with Adam in the sense that he's not joking because he continually refers to our prime minister as the governor.
He is joking. He's toying with Prime Minister.
I don't think he is. I think there's a lot more layers to this. I don't think he's joking. I think, first of all, he's probably
a simpleton.
No, I never said that. No, I never said that.
What are the layers?
Yes, I think there's more layers to it because I think that this is a distraction for what he's actually trying to do in his own country, and that's dismantle the government itself in the United States.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
He is shaking everything up. He has no bones about that whatsoever. Jay, are we just going to let the tanks move in?
Well, you mentioned standing on our own 2 feet, and we need to. And there's so many things we haven't been doing in Canada over the past number of years. There's interprovincial trade barriers. There's natural resource projects that the federal government's been blocking for years. There's so many things we need to do to stand on our own 2 feet, and we haven't been doing it.
And you're right, we haven't done it. I don't know why we haven't, but we don't have any politicians' leadership who's saying we've got to trade between the provinces. Most people don't know about those barriers between our provinces. We have to have pipelines. There's no reason why the East Coast should be getting all its oil and gas from Saudi Arabia, which is absolutely insane. So you're saying that is Trump forcing Canada to stand up on its own 2 feet?
Well, that remains to be seen, but there are a lot of things...
Are you saying that we won't?
We'll see what our politicians do. I think Canadians are clamoring for change, and I think we're ready. For example, so many people didn't know about these interprovincial trade barriers.
Right.
It's in effect a 21% tariff, sending your goods between one province and another, whereas the average tariff going to the States before all this was 3%. It's so much easier to trade with the United States than it is to trade with ourselves. How does that make any sense? And so Canadians are waking up to this. And so I think that is important. The fact that we haven't been developing our natural resources, hundreds of billions of dollars of projects have been stymied over the past 10 years.
Because of our leadership, first of all. And secondly, Canadians are just waking up to it. So we should be, Anthony, we should be thanking Trump for waking Canada up. We should be thanking Trump for saying, you know what, we can do this. We're grown up.
I'll never thank him, but I think Trump is our Pearl Harbor. Trump's our Pearl Harbor.
Okay, you're going to have to explain that one to me now.
Trump is
Are we getting bombed?
No. Well,
Right.
he basically is trying
Are we going to sink in the water?
Trump is our Trump is our Pearl Harbor, where this is our moment to actually start taking a lot of these things seriously. standing on our own 2 feet, becoming more of a self-sufficient country in regards to interprovincial trade barriers, something I've been talking about for a decade, because you can't sell Niagara wine in British Columbia. I used to work in the hospitality industry. You discover these sort of things going over time. So if this has to be our Pearl Harbor moment to take the empire seriously, let's take the empire seriously.
That's why you host Opinionated. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, see if you have convinced Adam to change his mind. Right back after this.